You gotta make the hair a little bit.
That's what that was. Well, hello, people.
Hello. What's up?
How's it going?
This is Daniel and Lexie again.
Yes. Back at you.
Back.
In Roanoke, Virginia.
We are still in Roanoke, Virginia.
It's windy, y'all.
You can tell.
It's kind of cloudy. Look at the view. Look at the scenery. You see the scenery? Maybe move out of the way so the people can see the scenery.
That's fine. Okay, our story for today,
Yes.
or what we're doing today, is telling you our story and how we became a thing.
Man.
Because, dang, you see this fine piece of thing right here? God bless me with this. In Roanoke, Virginia, which is why we're here. And so yeah, we're here to tell you our story, our backstory, I guess a little bit before Roanoke, and then how we got here.
Yeah.
And then our journey and all that stuff. So you want to go first?
Sure thing. So we met during Elevation Church's internship.
Yes.
Back in fall 2017. It's actually something that I wasn't going to do. Oh. I went to school to be an athletic trainer. That's what I felt called to do. I was going to be a high school athletic trainer and bring the youth to Jesus. It was going to be great. I was going to be over FCA and all that. And then I had a friend suggest that I do the internship back in 2016. I was like, girl, no. Church internship and athletic training is not something, they don't make sense to go together, so I didn't do it. But at the time, I told one of our staff members, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. You should do it. And I was like, no.
Right.
No. That didn't go with my plan. But little did I know that it was God's plan.
God's plan. God's plan.
So fast forward a year later, summer of 2017, I applied to the internship and actually didn't get it. And at the time, I was at peace with it because I finally came to the realization that was something that God wanted me to do. And so regardless of what that looked like, I knew I was going to be an intern eventually.
All right.
And little did I know that it was going to happen. But a little more backstory, I had one of our volunteers speak over my life during the summer of 2017 at Lexie. I wouldn't be surprised because of how your heart is and because where you are in Christ. I wouldn't be surprised if you met your husband during the internship. And in that moment, I was like sworn off guys. I had just gotten out of a relationship. It wasn't a legit one, but it was a situationship, if you will call it that. And so I was like sworn off, like, no, I don't need to focus on guys. I need to focus on Christ. But then I applied to the fall internship of 2017 and got accepted, and not just get accepted, but they sent me to Roanoke, Virginia. And I'm like, what's in Roanoke, Virginia?
Your boy was in Roanoke.
And so that's kind of that's how I got to the internship. Mm-hmm. So baby, how did you get to the internship?
I actually got to the internship. Okay, but so the year before I actually got in, my friend passed away. My best friend, his name is Thomas Moore, and he passed away in December. The season was really rough for me, and it kind of pushed me to not swear off of females, but like I knew I wasn't gonna get into a relationship for a while because that wasn't my focus, and that moment, that time made me realize, like, yo, this thing is serious. Like, you got to get right, and so put God first in everything that you do. And so that was my focus for that season. So summer came around right before the internship. I had already apparently applied. I honestly don't remember like sitting down and applying, but I know that I was just like shooting out. I remember like applying for like everything in Elevation. Everything, like every production position, I didn't know anything about Elevation at the time because I was brand new to it. I only been to Elevation one time, and I was just randomly for my birthday. That's what I wanted to do, so I went to an Elevation church. But I was applying to every position, and then I think it was Julie. She sent me a response back like, yo. She was basically saying, yo, stop applying to everything. Just go ahead and apply. She ain't say it like that, but I took it up. I was like, just stop applying for everything and hey, here's our internship, try that, because obviously I wasn't qualified for anything at that time, but for the internship, because I wanted to grow in Christ and everything, so I applied for that. Summer came around, and I was on, what's it called, Gauntlet, with New Spring Church. That's the church that I was going to. I was at New Spring Church, and I was at Gauntlet with my dudes, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I vividly remember getting the text. It was like, yo, blah blah blah, I don't remember the exact thing, but it was like, you've been accepted in the program. And I was like, and everybody was asleep, and I just remember like, yo, and like I ran out of the hallway and like excited and everything, and all that stuff happened. That's how I got into the internship. It was weird because I didn't know if it was for me at the time. I was scared because I saw, obviously, my one of my main focuses at the time was income. Mm-hmm. And I saw how much we was getting paid, and I was like, yo.
But it was a paid internship.
It was a paid internship.
Shameless plug.
I wasn't impressed with the amount we were getting, though, and neither was my family and all that stuff. So it was hard for them to say or get behind me in that they never heard of Elevation. I'd never gone to Elevation, so it was really hard for them to get behind my decision to go. And I just remember sitting and praying about it, and then I remember sending out I think it had to be an email saying that I accept and like I want to be a part of the program and all that stuff. And I just remember in the living room just jumping around. I was the only one home. I was like, yes, yes, thank you, Jesus. And it was an interesting time. But how did we get here, like, to where we are now?
So our very first Sunday was a rhythm night, which is what Elevation Church does for our youth. So this was our very first Sunday, and the pastor I was preaching was Taverner Smith, and he did this sermon, basically parallel of his life and Jesus on the cross. And he gave us like a backstory of like his anxiety and all the things that he's gone through, and then he gave us a very vivid description of Christ dying on the cross. So needless to say, it was a very emotional night, and just truly spirit filled, I felt. And at one point at the end of his sermon, he encouraged everyone, grab the hold of the person next to you, we're gonna pray. I don't know where the other interns were at the moment, because there were 6 other interns, and it was just me and Daniel and Mr. Rowe. The only one on the road. And I'll never, like, as clear as day, we're praying, and I literally, like, clear as day, God say, this is it. And I remember looking at Daniel, like, wiping my hand, like, that's not what I came here for, Jesus. Don't do this. Don't do this.
God's plan. God's plan.
But it was in that moment, which was terrifying for me, because I had only known the man for 7 days. So I'm like, Jesus, I don't know what that means, but you gonna have to do something, because that don't make sense to me. Like, this is it. I don't know him. He might be crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember seeing that night. That was the night where I knew she was gonna mean something to me. I didn't know what it was, but I remember vividly seeing and watching her worship. We were worshiping, obviously, right next to each other in the same row. And I'm assuming it was during worship, but we were worshiping, and she fell down to her knees, and she was just like crying on the ground. I vividly remember that. And you were like crying on the ground, face down, like face planted into the ground, crying out to God and worshiping, hands out and everything. I was like, okay. We see
praise his name and he'll bless you.
Worshiping God. I was like, yo, I like that. But again, I was on my little grind where I was like, I'm not here for that. I'm here to focus on Jesus. Yeah. I'm here to focus on God. So I'm not gonna entertain that thought of like, yo, what you trying to do? I'm here to like, okay, I'm picking up a friend. Like, yo, she's gonna be one of my best friends. I can already tell. That's not what I was there for though. Like, I wasn't there. So it was weird. What happened tonight, or the leading up to the night where you told me?
So you skipping the part the very first time that we hung out was at the Star, which is where we are right now.
That's an important part.
It's very important. And actually, we're supposed to be all 6 of the interns.
At the Star.
I mean, you can't see the Star, but okay, well, you'll see the Star.
And
it was supposed to be all 6 of the interns. So backstory behind the Star in Roanoke is the largest man-made star in the city,
And you'll be seeing
in
it right
the
now.
world, actually. The largest man-made
have no
star,
idea.
I think. I don't know. I'll look it up. But it's rather large to the point, like, when you're driving through Roanoke, you can see it. So Roanoke's nickname is Star City because of the star.
Yep.
And at night, it lights up. So we saw it
Pretty
during
dope.
the day as interns together. So we figured, why not go see it at night? Basically, everyone ditched us.
No, what was it? What kind of night was it? Testimony night. That's what we were supposed to
Oh,
have.
yes. We were supposed to have testimony night,
Where we got closer as a group and as a family and all that stuff.
and everyone canceled.
Everyone canceled.
And so me and Daniel was like, yo, you still trying to go? I was like,
No, because at that time we were putting it off. Were we putting it
we
off
kept
for a
putting
long
it off.
time?
Yeah.
And we were just like, yo, we trying to get to know everybody. Like, come on.
We didn't know anybody.
We like on
At
a
that
deeper
time.
level than surface.
We were all
obviously.
friends.
Yeah.
We've hung out at this point, but like telling your testimony to someone offers up another level of vulnerability,
Right,
which
right.
then almost automatically brings you closer because now you
100%.
know a deeper level
know
of
what
this
they've been
person.
through.
Like, you know them behind the mask that we put
Right.
on every day. And so we were like, bet we're gonna go to the Star and hang out. And I remember I was an eKids intern, so we had a meeting, and Daniel was like, I'll just come scoop you after your meeting. And I was like, bet. So we were finishing up in the meeting. I texted him, like, hey, we're almost done. He's like, bet I'm outside. And then the meeting went on for like another 30 minutes to an hour, and
Dog,
Daniel was
I was
still
so upset.
waiting.
I was about to cancel. I was like, yo, I ain't even trying to do this no more. I'm going out of my comfort zone to hang out and all that stuff. Obviously, I wanted to, but it was like almost an hour past. I was like, yo, she ain't feeling me like that. I ain't worried about it. I wasn't worried about that again, but I was about to cancel. But
God led his heart astray. So we
He
come to the
did.
Star, y'all, and it's like dark, and it's like
it was dark, cloudy.
foggy, like the perfect scene for a scary movie. And this, and it's like, what if, doing all these scary what
hitting
ifs.
it.
If you know me, I don't do scary. I
was
don't do
hitting it,
suspense.
dog.
I can't even watch like CSI. Some episodes are too scary for me. But this man was like, yo, what if we go up there and da-da-da-da-da.
What if
I
somebody
don't know
behind that
this
tree
man
watching
yet,
us?
y'all.
What if
I
somebody
don't
taking
know
pictures?
this man.
It's cloudy and joint.
At this point, it was a Tuesday after rhythm night, and I'm like, bruh,
Dang.
like, I don't, what the heck? But
Nah,
he
she was out here.
he was spitting game, y'all. He was like,
I was
what
out
if
here
you go
doing
out
it.
there and I hold your hand? And I was like,
I ain't say all that, dog. See, what happened was I was getting her scared because I knew. I was like, okay,
He was
bet.
plotting.
She's scared over here. She don't want to.
he was
And
plotting.
so what happened? She was like, and all of a sudden,
Oh, he lying. He offered his hand, so I took it.
okay,
He offered his hand.
That's not what
So
happened,
I
dog.
took it. He gonna remember how he wanna remember.
Hey,
it.
man, it
but
is
that's
what
what
it is.
happened.
we
And
were
so-
holding hands.
For me,
entire time.
that night, I remember feeling safe. Like, y'all, I was scared. Like, this was a perfect scene for a scary movie. Black
accomplished.
people don't survive in scary movies.
Hey,
They're the
facts.
first ones to go.
That's why
So
we
we
just don't
putting
be in
ourselves,
scary
we put ourselves in a situation of like, yo, this is real life. We could die out here.
Yo,
But I
we
remember-
didn't know this. We didn't know this area at all.
At
so
all.
It was weird.
And so I remember going home that night. Not even going home, but just like being in his presence that night. I was like, yo, I feel safe around him. Like, this is kind of strange. And then I remember the next day, my supervisor, we were having our first one-on-one, and I was expressing my frustrations with liking guys. I hadn't admit that I liked him at this point, but it was like the frustration because I never know how the process works. I never know how to exchange the liking or whatever. I don't know courting, dating, all of that. And because I wanted to do things differently. Like I said, I had gotten out of a situationship, which I thought was a Christian relationship, and it wasn't. We were just both Christians doing whatever the heck we wanted. And so I wanted to do things differently. And so I didn't know any of it. And so my supervisor is very straightforward, and she's like, what you're gonna learn
So
about me is lovingly, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She was like, what you're gonna learn about me is that I'm very straightforward to who's the guy. And this is, guys, I hadn't even admitted to myself, I didn't even write it in my journal yet. And she was like, so who's the guy? And I was like, Daniel. And she's like, I knew it. I was like,
How? No.
how?
And was that
sweet?
was that all before our trip to Cracker Barrel and everything?
I think it was after.
After. So people apparently knew like we were gonna be a thing, but I guess we hadn't said it ourselves or to each other at that time. So
We weren't aware yet.
we were not aware.
So all my friends in Charlotte knew about Daniel before I knew about Daniel, because it's an important part. We'll go back to that. Yeah. Because I was putting him over social media, not even realizing it. But you know how girls get, like, when they with that boy and they just with Daniel. I'm just taking pictures. Like, I'm cute. And so my friend Taylor came to visit that Friday. So Sunday, God told me that this was it. Tuesday, we went to the Star for the first time. Wednesday, I admitted to my supervisor that I liked him. That Friday, my friend Taylor comes to visit because we had an event going on at the church, and she was helping out with child care. And at this point she knew. I was like, so there's this guy. She's like, oh, I know. I was like, whatever. So then she starts, like, questioning Daniel without me knowing until we got to my host home. That. And she was like, so I had a conversation with Daniel, and y'all, I flipped out. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What did you say to him, Taylor? And y'all, me and Taylor had a full on argument. Like, my host family the next day is like, yo, I'm surprised she's still here, because it was a yelling match. But it was because I was scared. Like, liking guys I didn't have a good track record with guys. I only liked them for the attention that they gave me, or I thought, oh, he's a Christian, I'm a Christian, this is gonna work out, it's gonna be beautiful. And it wasn't. And so I didn't want to jeopardize something that I didn't even know where it could go, first of all. And it was just like, holy crap, I've only known this kid for 10 days. How can I like him already? Like, Lex, you going right down the same path. Here you go, liking a dude, blah, 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 blah. And Taylor's whole premise was like, Lex, just tell him that you like him. What do you have to lose? And my fear was it was going to make things uncomfortable. Like, we've only been here for 10 days. It's a 15-week internship. I got 13 more weeks with this dude. If he don't like me, it's going to be awkward. Like, can you imagine? So hey, I like you.
Like, oh. Dang, that would have been
And so it was like a full-on argument, but at the end of the argument, I realized that, okay, I had to tell him, like, what do I have to lose? If he doesn't like me, it's fine. We'll go on being friends, hopefully. And then that Monday, we had in our staff meeting, there was a teaching on fear.
Yeah, that was important, too.
And it was one of those things where it was like God was just, like, reiterating what Taylor had already said. I remember. And I was like, fine, God. All right. So me and Daniel were hanging out, watching I Am Legend.
Yeah.
And
Scare Tactic again, I guess. That was one of my favorite movies, though. It is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And so I was... he knew that we were going to have the conversation. He didn't know what it was going to be about. But I was like, hey, can we talk when you come over later? He's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So I tell him, like, so, I may or may not, like you, like, something like that. Like, something along those lines. It was real awkward how I did it, because I'm awkward, and I didn't know how to be like, yo, I like you right up front. And all he was like, oh, thanks for telling me, or something like that.
It was something real swervish.
He swerved me, y'all.
I swerved.
Like, my biggest fear was happening. I was like, dang, this is why I didn't want to tell you.
Again, I was like, God was telling me I'm here for God. Obviously, like, I knew down deep I was feeling her, but it was like, I'm not here for this. I don't want to mess up God's plan by, like, committing to something that he ain't have for me. Like,
Man.
This is just another tactic. I swerved.
I was texting Taylor.
I was texting my cousin the whole time. And we were watching it on my laptop.
Yeah,
because I think I was scared because I was texting him, but I had, like, my notifications on the laptop. So in the top right corner, all our text messages were going down. I was like, I was trying to swipe them away.
And I'm oblivious because I'm texting my best friend Taylor.
Yo, it was
and
real
Vanessa,
awkward, too,
and was like, yo, I just told this dude I liked him, and all he said was, oh. And they were like, that's all he said? I was like, yes, I told y'all it was a good idea.
Yo, that's so funny, man.
Ain't no good, bruh.
That's funny, though, because I was terrified because I didn't want to mess up God's plan, but I was like, yo, okay. And I remember going home and, like,
then he decided to finally text me about the conversation afterwards. Like, it was a long, full-fledged text conversation that we could have had in person.
We could have had that conversation. It was awkward though afterwards, but it turned out to work out pretty good, I guess. I don't remember the days after, like, seeing each other.
No, it wasn't awkward at all. Like, because after our text conversation, we realized that we both like each other, and then we also realized that we want to take it slow because of our past and because of what we went through.
Yeah, that was my worry. I was scared that this whole thing was just a high because it was like a week. How long into the internship?
It was like 2 weeks.
We were just on. My fear was that it was just an emotional high from everything else. I'm here at a new experience, new life, new place, new opportunity, new friend. Oh, I love you, I like you, and all that stuff. And I was scared. Like that's what
I love him though, y'all.
You know what?
I just said I liked you. I didn't say I'm gonna marry you or anything.
Because I was like, yo, I don't want
I like you.
this to just be a momentary thing. Like if we're doing this, I wanna make it a I wanna make it a real thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I was scared. I remember telling David that as well. Like I don't want to do this if it's just gonna be for the high, and then we get down from our high, and it's like I'm not feeling like that anymore, you know.
But it allowed us to create a friendship first, because like I said, we were hanging out at that point, but God was doing something in the both of us, really preparing our hearts for a relationship, because neither one of us had been in legit Christian relationships. Right. Like I said, I talked to a guy who was a Christian, and I was a Christian, but it wasn't a Christian relationship by any means.
Not at all. Not one where you actually honored God.
Right.
Whatsoever.
Like Christ wasn't at the center of any of it. And so we wanted to make sure that like, yo, this is gonna be Christ centered. Like, this is legit gonna be Christ centered. So a friendship, we allowed a friendship to brew, and fester and do all the things as friends. We hung out, played video games. Our first kiss was actually funny because it was super duper unexpected. We were hanging out. No. And
we were watching Creed? Was that Creed? No.
We were watching something.
I don't know.
And he kisses me and it was all cute and stuff.
I don't remember what was happening, but like we might have been like fake fighting.
Nothing
and like
ever
we were
comes
close.
Nah,
we were close. You're right. That's very true.
Listen, when he punched you jokingly.
What are you? I ain't no punch.
It wasn't a real punch. I said jokingly. He don't abuse me,
like,
y'all. Like, yeah, like haha, get out of here.
Ain't nobody do that.
He up to something.
But nah, that's what it was. I wasn't planning on kissing her that night either. But I vividly remember we were like wrestling or something, and we were just like close, and I was like losing my. I legit was losing my. Hey man.
I was losing my balance.
I legit was losing my balance, and we was like that. And I was like, yo, it's time. So I just went in.
And he went for it. But I remember because I had a conversation with Christ that I wanted to do things different, a lot of my past experiences, I would kiss the guys before he would make me his girlfriend and then wonder like, yo, bruh, we've been doing this now.
Getting the prize?
Right. I mean, we didn't have sex or anything, but it was one of those things where it's like, if I want to do things, if I want a different result, I gotta do things differently. And so I texted him the next day. I was like, yo, that kiss was cute and all, but I'm not your girl. You can't kiss me no more. You was hurt, babe? I
was hurt. I was like, dang, that felt good though. I ain't gonna lie, but I understand because I wanted the same thing. So I'm glad you said that. It was worth it, 100%.
And so, baby, how did you ask me out? What led you to the realization that you needed to? Because you were going to wait until the end of the internship. Why didn't you?
I didn't want to... Well, I wanted to, like, mold our relationship into something while we were still in each other's space. So that was one of my fears, again, because...
Oh, yeah. It's important to say, I live in Charlotte, and he lives in Spartanburg.
Yeah.
Which is an hour and a half away. So that's context, considering we were in a 15-week internship seeing each other every day.
Right, we weren't going to see each other afterwards whatsoever. So it's kind of a thing like, yo, do you want to actually mold this into something so it can last? Or you want to do it at the end of the internship and then never see each other again, go on about your ways, and then like what? The way I did it, was the night? What night was it? It
was Vision night.
Vision night, yeah.
Well, how did you come up with the idea, first off? Research is important, guys. Fellas, if you're watching this and there's a girl you like, research and talk to her friends.
I remember
you talked to V.
Yeah, I talked to V about it. I can't remember, y'all had something going on where y'all kept saying something about cuffs.
So backstory. So me and my friends,
yeah.
My group of friends back home before coming to the internship, we always joked that like fall is cuffing season.
Right.
So like
yeah.
We always joked about like who's gonna get cuffed first. So it was actually funny because before the internship they said it was gonna be me, and I was like, y'all know I'm a nun. Like that was my joke, like I'm a nun, it's me and Jesus. So they all joked like, oh Lexie, you're gonna get cuffed first. So Daniel found that out from one of my close friends, Vanessa. The phrasing of getting cuffed.
You want to tell them like what V said and all that stuff?
Oh, and so V, more backstory. I guess our story is a lot, y'all, but that's why we're doing this video. But Vanessa, she interned with us, but in Raleigh. And so when you get accepted to the internship, right a couple of weeks before the internship starts, they send you out a roster with everyone's pictures of everyone else that is going to be in the internship with you. So we get our roster and everything, and V screenshots the roster and sends it to me, and she goes, Daniel's gonna be your person. And I'm like, bro, what? Like, why? Because he black? And she's like, no, there's other black people around. I said he's the only black dude. And I'm like, bro, she prophesied. It was just weird because she was right.
She was.
And so fast forward.
That's what I'm talking about.
Get you a Vanessa. If you ain't got one, get you a Vanessa. But yeah, so that's context. So he talks to V, figure out some more details that he doesn't already know, leading to.
I remember you saying before, one of your wants or desires, whatever, was to have like a heart-shaped pizza.
So I love pizza, and I've always wanted a significant other to give me a heart-shaped pizza. I've had best friends get me like a heart-shaped pizza for Valentine's Day, but the concept, it's pizza in the shape of a heart, and I love love.
A win-win, though.
I got love on my wrist, y'all. Like, you can't really. Love on my wrist. Like, hearts and love, like, that's just my thing. And so a heart-shaped pizza, I was like, oh, yes, a heart-shaped pizza.
That was good. And so it was vision night. I was preparing and everything. I told everybody in the office, like, yo, I'm planning to do this. I talked to her supervisor and everything.
He asked my supervisor for permission. He was going to ask my host family, but he didn't have their number.
I was ready, dog. I was trying to do it all right. But that night, I remember it was vision night, and I left early just so I could ask her out. And I told everybody there, like, yo, tonight. Hopefully she says yes.
So he texts me, and he tells me not to eat. But my host family was having E-group that night. And so I had already eaten at that point. Mind y'all, it's like 9 o'clock. I already ate dinner.
Whatever, dog.
What do you expect from me?
Though.
I was hungry.
You gotta trust and believe.
I was so hungry.
But yeah, so I had already had my plan and everything. I went to go to the store, to the little mini Walmart that's not there anymore. I went to the mini Walmart, got me a little pizza cutter.
Because you couldn't find a pizza place that made heart-shaped pizza because it was the middle of October.
Nobody.
Heart-shaped pizzas are only around Valentine's Day
kind of thing. So I did my research and everything. I went to the store. I was like, bet, I'm gonna have to do this myself. So I went to Benny's. That's her favorite spot. I went to Benny's, got 2 pizzas, did my little pizza cutter heart shape in the car too, because I had to go. I had to move. I did it all in the car. I went there, got some fake handcuffs, and I pulled up to her host family house to hang out and stuff. And I was real awkward that entire time.
Listen,
I was real awkward.
He got into so where I lived in my host family, it was like in the den, so he didn't have to go through the front in case it was late. And he was just acting off. Like, at this point, we've hung out so much. Like, almost every day, literally, we were spending time together. And he was acting mad awkward. Like,
it was visibly awkward. Like,
what's on your mind? Like, basketball season had started. We were watching the game. Like, I'm expecting you to be, like, hype. And he wasn't. He was all, like, real reserved, like, kept to himself. Like, nervous. I was like, what's going on with you?
Boy was focused. And I went in there. I was like, yo, you really about to do this? Because I was still like,
he told me he was outside, like, pacing. Like,
I was nervous. Cause I was like, yo, you really about to, like, walk into this? Like, you know what you want from this. I don't want this to ever end, kind of thing. So,
and part of it is because we both knew that if we dated, this was it. Like, we knew our wants. We know our wants, because I've always said the next guy that I'm gonna date, I'm marrying. So it was more of a knowing what we were committing to, because we're not married, but we plan on it. And so it was one of those things that, like, we knew, because we had the conversation before we even started dating, like, the next person I date, I'm marrying. So he realized that he was committing to more than just, oh, you're gonna be my girlfriend, it's gonna be cute. Like, nah, he was like you're gonna be my girlfriend, about to be you about to be my whole wife. Like, it's about to be just going through the motions of, like, you gotta be my girlfriend. So that's where the nerves came from.
That's where it was. And it was scary, but
terrifying.
I was there. I think I already had the handcuffs on, so I had my whole jacket.
His hand in his pocket the whole time.
In my pocket.
Sketch.
I was there. I was like, "What you doing?" She go to the side. No. What? I was trying to hide it and everything, make it perfect. And I think we were sitting down on the couch
watching the game, because basketball season is back.
Yeah, bet. And I was like, I think I asked you like 2 or 3 times, like, "Yo, you really wanna do this or something?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Granted, y'all, you have to understand, like, we've had the conversations, so that's kind of important.
Yeah.
I know that's not what we're talking about, but like, if you're trying to really pursue someone,
Yeah, you gotta make sure
there's
you
a
ain't
lot of
falling
conversations that
face.
you have to have beforehand to, like, knowing that you both want to be in a relationship, and then knowing that this is not a game that if you do get into a relationship. So we knew a lot of our wants going into the relationship because we had those conversations ahead of time. And you have to think, we was living like real world life. Like, we was together all of the time. Like, we worked together because we were interns, but then, like, our Fridays and Saturdays, our off days, we were spending together, hanging out, doing things, watching games. We were a lot of time. So for like a lot of people, this is technically only a month and a half into the internship.
But
at this
we were
point.
spending time and a half, so it seemed like it was a lot more time invested into each other than just a month, obviously.
Yeah.
So it was weird. Obviously, I guess from the outside looking in, it's weird, but I don't care. It was us, and that was our path.
So how did you ask me
So
out
I
then?
asked her like a couple times, like, yo, you really trying to do this? And she was like, I mean, yeah. Like for real. Yeah. I can't remember my exact phrase. Like, all right, bet. What?
So he goes, so we watching a game, so we having this conversation, like, you for real, like, you actually want to do this? And I'm like, yeah. So he was like, so if I were to ask you, can I cuff you, what would you say? So y'all start laughing. Cause, like, I'm like, what? I mean, and I was like, I mean, if you serious, then yeah. He's like, nah, for real, can I cuff you? And I bust out laughing, like, yes, you can cuff me. Cause I'm thinking he's joking. This man whip out a pair of handcuffs and literally cuffs me and goes, you stuck with me now. Like,
we got the picture and everything.
We have the picture and everything, and it's so funny. He cuffed me, y'all. Your girl was cuffed, and I just remember just like sitting there all giddy, like, yo, this is legit. And he kisses me because he could finally kiss me.
Your boy was in there.
And then he shows me the pizza, and I'm just like, oh, babe, I ate already, but I'm gonna eat this
Side
tomorrow
like,
for breakfast.
We were halfway calling each other babe, like before we were.
Yeah, in our heads,
like not to each other.
like in my head the whole time, I'm like, oh, what up, babe? But like in my, girls, we do this all the time. Don't you lie. When you see the dude, like, ha, that's babe. That was in my head. He was babe. I just wasn't outwardly calling him babe because we weren't together.
So that was that's our story of how we actually got to become a thing.
Y'all, he cuffed me.
I did. I cuffed. Your boy did. It was research. I had some people prophesying.
Yeah, that was actually crazy.
A lot of people, like, what, 2 or 3? Was Taylor?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Taylor helped out too. Dang, we had some people fighting for us though. That's dope.
And to this day, so we celebrated our 1-year anniversary yesterday. Which is why we're in Roanoke, because this is where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, it's been a fun journey of just been together for a year. And so
it's very weird, not conventional, but I mean,
yeah, it's not the ideal situation. But
it's part of the reason why God should be and is our focus and our center, because I feel like it's very difficult otherwise to not see each other every day. Going from a time where we were literally spending every day with each other,
so much time,
to going to a whole year seeing each other, maybe for adding up all the days, maybe for a total of a month and a half
over the past 2 months. Yeah,
like actually spending time physically with each other and all that stuff. So it's weird, but hey, we here, dog. We here. God is good. That's the thing. God is good.
But yeah, so many people, I guess not many people, but people always ask us our story. So we figured we started this podcast, video, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I never know what to call it. But we figured, why not take the time to share the story in the place where we met. And so it's great. Virginia is for lovers. So
apparently, man. Apparently.
Dang.
That's crazy. And yeah, this is our spot. That's where we were.
Where we'd hang out, we would come to the Star and just talk.
Well, not every day, but a lot.
A lot.
That's where we had our own testimony night.
Yep.
That's where we got vulnerable with each other and all that stuff, and it worked out.
It's one of those things where you just have to trust God. A lot of people ask, like, in their single season, like, how do I deal? It's like, you can't focus on finding him. Like, literally, I didn't come to Roanoke for Daniel. Like, that was not my intention. Like, I was focused on Christ. I came and did this internship because I felt like it was something God wanted me to do. In fact, I remember when I first told my mom about it, I was like, Mom, I met a guy. And she was like, that's not what you went there for. I was like, I know, but he's crazy, here. Though. I've always heard it said, like, if you really want to find the one, you have to be running full force and then look over and he'll be there. That's literally us.
What it was.
He just appeared. I didn't know Daniel before this.
And, like,
he didn't know me.
How many things had to go right for us to actually be together and all this stuff? Like, again, she applied for the internship before. She got denied. And she applied again, and it was... I ain't gonna say it was for me. It was for me. It was for me.
And so it's one of those things where it's just trusting God, knowing that the more you look, the harder it is going to be to find. 100%. But if you just live for Christ and getting to know yourself, and getting to know Christ on a deeper level, He'll make a way. And I'm not saying that's going to be tomorrow. I'm not going to give you a time frame because everyone's different. God knows your needs more than you'll ever will. I was just blessed. And so we're just thankful that God allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our story.
Crazy. That is our story. And so I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more videos, and we'll see y'all next time.
Subscribe and follow us on the gram.
Do that. Till next time.